February 20th, 2017. Zyori, a popular caster in the Dota 2 scene, makes a Reddit post.
May I present Midas Mode!
A Dota 2 tournament like we've never seen. A full economic system where money dictates every decision a team makes. Want to pick a certain hero? You need more money. Need to pause because your mom just walked in? Nope, you're too low on funds. Suffer the consequences of being poor. The rules are ridiculous. The production is something out of a fever dream, and the community, they're hyped. But how does something like this even come to be? Who's the mastermind behind this insanity? This is Slax. If you know Dota, you've probably heard his name, or at least his voice. Slax is a content creator and professional madman for Dota 2. His sole mission is to bring as much fun and chaos as humanly possible, and he never seems to fail. It seems like tournament organizers can just give him a mic and tell him to go make some content, and he always does.
We're going to go into LGD's room. We need to celebrate their victory.
We got you hot dogs! Hot dogs!
Now this here is the coach's lounge. We're gonna need to be a little bit more quiet than usual. Pass the pig now, everyone. We got one pig.
But Slax is a real one. He's been in the scene forever making Dota 2 content. Despite Slax's typical persona of not taking things too seriously, he actually had a serious idea.
So, yeah, the idea popped into my head that I wanted to do a tournament. I wanted to see what that life was like. I've done a lot of front of house work, kind of being on the talent side, but I wanted to see what it was like from a production side, from a sales side, from an organizational side.
Well, actually, the original idea came from Z-Freak, a pro player at the time.
Z-Freak! I got a Twitter DM. Hey, have you ever thought about doing a tournament with units? I was like, that's interesting. And he said they do something like that in the NFL video game scene, and I don't know, it sounded pretty cool.
What if professional Dota stopped being so predictable, so structured, so stale? What if instead the pros were forced to deal with ridiculous rules and community-submitted challenges? And this was actually a really big deal for Slax. It wasn't just a meme, it was personal. You see, Slax had a lot of experience in front of the camera, but he's the type of person that looks for a challenge.
When I do something well, I get bored with it. I don't want to do it anymore. It's a weird personal thing that I have, but I'm always trying to find something new that I challenge myself with, something that I haven't done before, and see if I can grow.
So what better challenge than organizing a Dota 2 event with rules we've never seen before, all from scratch? And this was the birth of Midas Mode. But this was not going to be easy, and he could not do it alone. With the help of close friends like Purge and Moonduck Studios, a small but passionate team of Dota 2 broadcasters and producers, they started cooking. Now, Moonduck already had some experience running tournaments with unusual rules. That's helpful, but this one was on another level. This was the start of the hand puppet host, Mr. Midas. A gold-obsessed, ridiculous mascot to match their ridiculous tournament.
I have bowel problems.
That's
right. My impression of you, you fat meat man.
And his assistant slash cameraman slash punching bag, Reginald, who never seems to do the right thing.
Thanks for screwing up the draft, Reginald!
Where are you going? Oh,
Next time, I'd love to see the draft, Reginald. Really appreciate that. Like an hour break of that.
Yeah,
That's
that was great.
Reginald, why are you looking at me again? Unbelievable. Get out of the shot, Reginald!
What? Reginald!
And if you couldn't tell, yes, this is Slax.
Up if you're gonna have to.
Oh, what is this?
What was that?
What have you done?
This crazy idea gained momentum fast, and the community was invested. And how could you not be? There was just one little problem. Ideas like this cost money, real money. And for that, they'd need some equally unusual sponsors. But not just any sponsors. This wasn't a normal $1 million esports tournament. This was Midas Mode. So naturally, they partnered with an audio gear company, an esports betting platform, pretty normal stuff. But then there was the e-cigarette provider.
All right. We still have time.
And that was your first vape break, provided by Alien Piss.
Shout out to Alien Piss for that beautiful vape break. We're back into the game now.
So you have that insanity going on, and at the same time, the last sponsor is NASA. Yeah, that NASA. The Kennedy Space Center literally sponsored a Dota 2 tournament with a hand puppet for a host. How Slax managed to pull that off, I have no idea. But at the same time, I'm not surprised at all. These sponsors weren't just slapped on the broadcast either, they became part of the charm. Because if you're gonna make the weirdest tournament of all time, your sponsor should be just as weird. But even with the funding secured, the teams playing in Midas Mode weren't getting rich. In fact, they weren't getting paid at all. Every team agreed to donate their winnings to charity. Each one chose a cause they believed in. No prize pools, no payouts, just good Dota for a good cause. And these teams weren't throwaway teams either. We're talking 2017 Team Liquid, fresh off their win at the International. Evil Geniuses still packed with legends like Arteezy and Sumail, OG, Navi, Optic, Immortals. This tournament was actually stacked. They split the event into 2 regions, Europe and North America, 4 teams in each. It wasn't just a meme event with random mixed stacks. These were full-on pro rosters, some of the best players in the world. And they were about to enter a tournament that made no sense on paper.
And that was your first vape break.
The rules were unlike anything we've ever seen. Every team started with one thing, Moonbucks, a completely fake currency that controlled everything they did. Want to pick a hero? That costs Moonbucks. Want to ban a hero? Also costs Moonbucks. Need to pause the game because you're lagging? Yeah, that costs Moonbucks too. Even choosing which side you play on or whether you got first pick came down to blind bidding with Moonbucks. If you couldn't afford it, tough luck. Enjoy your terrible draft and worst side. And the prices weren't fixed either. Hero picks were meant to be like the stock market with constantly changing prices. So if a hero was meta or overpowered, it got expensive. If it was off meta, weird, or straight up bad, it was a bargain. Suddenly, pros had to make real economic decisions. Do you save your money and play some janky draft? Or go all in for that one key hero and risk going broke? But there were also ways to earn Moonbucks back. You could skip banning heroes, which is a huge disadvantage because the enemy can pick pretty much any hero they want. You could random a hero instead of picking it normally, but you might get something trash.
No random.
And one of the best features of Midas Mode, the community submitted bounties. These bounties were ridiculous mini challenges voted on by Reddit and the Dota community. There was the Happy Little Trees bounty where you had to sneak into the enemy's base and plant a tree. Jarex tried this but failed because we all found out later that it wasn't actually even possible to do that.
Hello, everyone. It has come to my attention that you actually can't plant trees in the fountain.
We were supposed to test that, I believe.
Yeah.
So, that wasn't tested.
That's our bad.
Yep.
That's our bad.
No scope, where you have to all chat 360 no scope, then proceed to do a 360 spin and kill a hero. Hide and seek, where you have to hide from the enemy team for 2 minutes, leaving the Aegis on the ground for at least 1 minute. Usually you try to pick this up literally as fast as possible so the enemy doesn't take it. Typing "we're smoking" in all chat every time you smoked. Some teams even started doing it randomly just to mess with the enemy. Then there were the more tame bounties like picking all melee or ranged heroes, and a bunch more, all coming from the community. And when somebody completed a bounty or paused and lost a bunch of money, the casters lost their minds.
I've got. Wow.
Oh, no!
Oh! What?
Oh, no!
All right. Well,
Oh, my God!
I jinxed the hell out of that. Holy.
If you completed a bounty and won the game, you got double the reward, double the Moonbucks. It was like side quests in a tournament, and they actually mattered, because if you ran out of Moonbucks, you were broke, bankrupt, and the tournament got way harder. So yeah, the matches were mostly normal, but you constantly had these ridiculous moves teams would make that you would literally never see anywhere else, except maybe in your pubs when your teammate decides to grief the game. And the teams, they had to adapt, and adapt they did. Most teams played it pretty normally at the start, but then they realized the strats. Teams were skipping bans, randoming heroes, some teams even skipped all bans and randomed all of their heroes, which was a huge risk, but it gave them a ton of Moonbucks before the game even started. Then they'd blow their money on the more important matches down the line. Randoming became so common that the rules changed to not give additional Moonbucks anymore. Teams would do absolutely game-losing things just for the chance to complete a bounty and snag some juicy Moonbucks. This was Midas Mode at its peak, and it was only going to get dumber, because at the end, somebody had to win. In Europe, it was Team Liquid who came out on top. No surprise, they just won TI a few months earlier. And in North America, Optic Gaming took the crown. So you'd think we'd get a grand final, right? EU winner versus NA winner. Nope.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the best of 5 cross-regional grand final offer here on Midas Mode.
Optic is going to decline this amazing opportunity
But top of that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, Mr. Midas, we're kindly declined as well.
The teams were tired, the event was already running long, and honestly, nobody really cared. This wasn't about crowning a world champion, it was about the experience. Instead, the event wrapped up with a goofy award ceremony, shoutouts to the community, and the casters laughing their way to the credits. And that's about as fitting as it could be. Midas Mode was never supposed to be perfect. The graphics were scuffed, the rules were ridiculous, the whole thing felt like it could fall apart at any moment, but that's what made it beautiful. It wasn't built by a corporation with millions of dollars. It was built by people who genuinely loved the game and its community. Slacks wanted a challenge, a chance to prove himself as more than just a crazy guy with a loud voice. Someone who could seriously put together something memorable. And Moonduck, the teams, the casters, the community, everyone bought into the same idea. That Dota didn't have to be so serious all the time. That esports could be fun, weird, unpredictable, and still deeply competitive. That you could run a tournament where the goal wasn't money or fame, but just to make something awesome together. The players didn't get a paycheck, the money went to charity. The viewers got memories that still make them smile years later. And Midas Mode didn't stop there. In 2019, Moonduck ran Midas Mode 2 with more teams, bigger production, and even more chaos. And while a third Midas Mode hasn't happened yet, people still ask for it. Because what Slacks created wasn't just a tournament, it was a reminder that games are supposed to be fun. And that sometimes, breaking all the rules is the best way to bring people together.
Goodbye! Play the video, Reginald!
If you like this video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe for more content like this. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, check out this other video of mine, where we look back at the Summit 1, a tournament with some of the best teams in the world ran out of a house, with player interviews in a bathtub. Thank you to all the Patreon and YouTube members as always. You guys going the extra mile and supporting me and my content really does mean a lot and helps me continue to make videos. If you haven't joined our community Discord, go join it. You can chat with people about Dota or non-Dota related things and even find people to party with. Links to everything will be in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you learned something new with me. Bye.